Hey, cheers, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So, I believe as the Sunday comes, we thought of planning this time a tech talk. Means working in and out around, we have been working on development of soft skills, and more importantly, Cheers with Gaurav has always focused on bringing something that is not existing over the YouTube or any social media, or more importantly, that should be put it in a right way, right message that needs to be bring out. We have to clear all the rumors, and that's what we as a team Gaurav has successfully achieved during our few of the session. So for this Sunday specifically, I thought of bringing a proper tech talk where some of the myths that have been running around the industry needs to be cleared from a developer perspective, from a student perspective, or even from an individual perspective who loves to work in the OS. And more importantly, while working for the Red Hat, I understood that yes, this is something that needs to be addressed. So this particular video, though I work for Red Hat and I'm doing this out of my personal passion, this is not an official channel of Red Hat or being endorsed by Red Hat. This is completely out of my personal passion. Whatever we are going to share, all the logos are being totally covered by Red Hat themselves. Now, talking about the individual who is going to guide us today means this is a particular heat that was going around in the market. CentOS projects shifted to the CentOS stream. Why it was? So I thought of bringing someone who can help us in guiding that why the shift happened, what are the important dates that it got reflected, and more importantly, that why Red Hat thought in this line. So today we have someone from our APAC region. So Rahul is a product manager who recognized the customer's problem and solve them using the next generation technologies. He worked on an optimizing Red Hat solution and product that mattered to the current market. Rahul is a continuous learner and find the ways to challenge himself by being in an uncomfortable situations. He enjoyed working in the various roles in IT, starting like more than 20, more than 17 plus years in the industry, starting from his associate consultant roles in India and then shifting to Singapore as a system integrated engineer, storage engineer, cloud infrastructure expert, then a solution architect, and now working as a senior principal product manager for RHEL. He enjoys meeting people, hearing different perspectives, and reaching out to Rahul has always helped me in understanding that how technology can help individuals' growth, or I should say, a business to be more innovative. So let's bring Rahul on the screen and hear it from him that why this CentOS thing came out and why CentOS Stream, what is importance, and how one can take the best use out of it. So, hey Rahul, good evening, and thank you for joining us. Cheers.
Hello, good evening, Gaurav. Very happy to be here and very glad to be here. And thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk about this particular topic. I'm very
Absolutely.
glad to be you all.
Pleasure is completely ours, Rahul. So, just want to ask you before we start on the major topic talking about, let's say, CentOS and all, do you really miss India?
Definitely. The first thing it ever comes to my mind is food. The homely food, right? That's definitely missing, and it's almost 2 years now. Almost one and a half years now. I have visited India, so definitely missing my native place.
Yes.
Have to visit my mom and dad, and have to get some food cooked by my mom. Yes.
Definitely, definitely. We all miss the same. Luckily, we are here in India and we are with the family. So I hope your family is doing good in Singapore and they are quite safe.
Yes. All good here. All good and perfect.
Okay. So now let's talk about Rahul. So over 17 years in the industry, have you ever thought of that open source or specifically talking about RHEL as an OS or a platform? This is gonna get this much of huge recognition in the industry?
In my career, right? In my career, I have come across Linux many times, but I never understood the value of open source during those times, unless until I joined Red Hat. So it was a really an eye opener for me after joining Red Hat, and I started learning open source and how that has an impact towards the community and the people around us. The way we do things, the way we give back has an impact towards our community and people. And I that's how I started enjoying this work more because it has a little bit more meaning towards what I do. And
Right.
that's to be honest, this is my longest career ever. Almost 6 years with Red Hat. I think it all comes together.
No, definitely means we were going through your profile and we found out that you started as an associate consultant with Capgemini. Now, talking about the era of 2003, where even the CentOS was not existing, and now we are talking about this shift of CentOS project to CentOS stream and talking about RHEL specifically, which is our main agenda for the day. How you see this impact on the community, or I should say that enterprise customers are getting benefit or something?
I'm looking at this as a positive change. I'm going to explain the different aspects, why we made the change, how this happened, why is it going to give us some more advantages compared to the previous way of doing things. I'm going to touch on that, but from a personal standpoint, I see that it's going to make a positive impact. But right now, it's challenging because any change is difficult, right? Any change is difficult, and communicating that change is even more difficult. So I wanted to thank you, Gaurav, on this platform, because having such kind of platforms helps us to get that message right across to our audience, and I'm really thankful for that. So let's make use of this platform, and I'll talk about why and how we made these changes.
Yes, so over to you means whatever you have for us. And all the viewers who are watching, please feel free to comment the questions for Rahul in the comment section or in the chat, and we'll try to address them during the session or towards the last. So, Rahul, so what we have for all the viewers for us, like today we are going to talk a little about, I have just given them a glimpse, talking just about like CentOS, Stream, what important dates, changes, what are the developer programs that we have launched, and many others. So over to you. Anything that you want to kick off or how you want to get started?
So I'm going to share my screen, and then we'll talk through that. And any questions, feel free to put that in the chat, uh,
Yes,
and we can address that as we move along. So I'm going to share my screen.
right.
All right, I did that. I make it to a presentation mode.
Yes. So we can see it's loading up. And
Yes.
here we are. Yes, it's
All
live.
right.
Okay.
Okay. So why did we make this change? What was in our minds when Red Hat was thinking about this change? So when we look at our ecosystem, we talk about three distributions from a Red Hat standpoint, like Fedora, Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Then we have CentOS Linux. So Fedora is a place where operating system development happens. That's a place where developers comes together, cutting edge, bleeding edge innovation happens. That's a place where next generation business challenges has been addressed. So if you are a person who is looking forward to build next generation technologies like IoT, say for example, or artificial intelligence or machine learning kind of environments, or if you are interested in operating system development, Fedora is the right place. So you'll be contributing towards Fedora ecosystem. Then from Fedora, we created Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So it's a fork of Fedora. Why Red Hat Enterprise Linux, right? The Red Hat Enterprise Linux is for those type of people, those type of customers and consumers who wants to get the value of get value from Red Hat, like things like stability, performance, security. If you want to have a back-to-back SLA, things like that. So that's a place where Red Hat Enterprise Linux makes sense for if you'd like to have a predictable release cadence, so that you can plan your releases, you can plan your application releases, you can plan your hardware releases, you can plan your application configurations and things like that. So you get to see the roadmap way before, and you can plan accordingly. And that's a place where Red Hat Enterprise Linux makes sense. And from there, we created CentOS Linux. So why did we create CentOS Linux? CentOS Linux came out in back in 2004. So the purpose was that not everybody can be on Fedora. Fedora, as I said, it's a cutting edge, bleeding edge place, right? That's where the innovation happens. It's fast paced, it's moving fast. So not many will be able to adapt and adopt to that. So some of them would need a place where which is closer to Red Hat Enterprise Linux, so that they can deploy their application, test it, make some contributions, and then move forward and contribute that back to Red Hat Enterprise Linux. And that was the logic behind CentOS Linux. So we created that. It was given to our partners. It was widely used by developers. It was widely used by ISVs. So they start contributing onto CentOS Linux. And that's a place where we started to face challenges, because when you contribute something to CentOS Linux based on our upstream first philosophy, whatever goes into CentOS Linux has to get to Fedora first. And then from Fedora, it flows down to Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So let's take an example. Let's say Gaurav is a software developer. He's an intelligent boy. He's developing intelligent applications, and he is contributing to CentOS Linux. All those innovations Gaurav has been putting into CentOS Linux goes to Fedora and then reaches RHEL and then it reaches his customers. So it was a longer cycle. So innovation has been taking some time to reach the end customers. This is the challenge which we wanted to address. This is a problem which we wanted to solve using CentOS Stream. And that's how CentOS Linux transformed into CentOS Stream. So what we did was that, moving on to the next slide, what we did was that the CentOS Stream has been put in between Fedora and Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So the difference is CentOS Linux gets released after Red Hat Enterprise Linux, but now CentOS Stream is before. So CentOS Stream gets released before Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So I go back to Gaurav's example. So now Gaurav has been using CentOS Linux. He has been contributing to CentOS Linux, and it went to Fedora and then to RHEL and then to the customers. Now with this change, Gaurav is contributing onto CentOS Stream, and that directly gets into RHEL. So he is going to influence the roadmap of Red Hat Enterprise Linux, which means that whatever innovation Gaurav is making today gets to his customers much more faster. And that's a fundamental logic behind creating CentOS Stream. And something more important is that we still keep the CentOS Stream open. It's an open source project, no difference on that. It is freely redistributable. Also, one important thing happened there with CentOS Stream. The 80 to 90% of the work which we do in Red Hat Enterprise Linux is now made public. Previously, when you look at it, Red Hat Enterprise Linux was a little bit of black box, not that much available out in the public places. Now, with CentOS Stream, we are making RHEL a little bit more open. So now our partners, people like you, developers, people like me, if I'm individual developer, I'm contributing to open source. Now I get access to RHEL even more better. And that's how we we are we are here today. So where to download it? So that's there in the presentation. You can download. I'm pretty sure you all know about that. You are all open source freaks. I'm pretty sure you know where to download CentOS. So not only download, also contribute to our open source projects. Now, so people might be asking us. Many of them has been asking, especially our customers has been asking us, is CentOS Linux and CentOS Stream the same? What is that? What is the difference? So as I mentioned, CentOS Linux used to get released after RHEL. CentOS Stream is getting before RHEL. And yet another interesting fact is CentOS Linux used to have versions like RHEL, because it is an afterthought of RHEL, right? And now CentOS Stream does not have any versions. It is a continuous stream. Things like bug fixes, security fixes, new innovations gets into RHEL, they gets into CentOS Stream on a daily basis. Things are changing on a daily basis. So it's a continuous stream. And CentOS Linux was stable. People were very happy about it using it, right? CentOS Linux was very stable. That kind of stability might not be there in CentOS Stream today. So we can't expect that today because we got started with CentOS Stream very recently, back in September 2019. So probably in future it might get to that stage, but that's some of the advantages with CentOS Stream. So Gaurav, an application developer, now gets a chance to influence and provide his innovation much faster to our customers and our community with CentOS Stream. So what are the important dates we keep in mind? Anybody using CentOS Linux 6? I'm happy to hear why you are still using CentOS Linux 6. So CentOS Linux 6 uh, got end of life back in November 30th, 2020. So if anybody is using CentOS Linux 6, then you are not getting any more updates. No, nobody is maintaining it. So it's a time we should migrate, move from CentOS Linux 6 to CentOS Linux 7, or maybe Red Hat Enterprise Linux. I'll talk about what are the different options available there. So when you look at CentOS 7, CentOS Linux 7, it is getting end of life by June 30th, 2024. So we have some more time if you are on CentOS Linux 7. But if you are on CentOS Linux 8, we have only a few more months to move on to the next one. So CentOS Linux 8 is getting end of life by 31st December 2024, and there is no more CentOS Linux 9. So what is there for us? Definitely CentOS Stream. CentOS Stream 9 is coming out. I think it's already announced. I saw some discussions on that. I'm not sure, but it should, uh, by right, it should be available for us this quarter in Q2 of from a Red Hat standpoint, which is May to June timeframe. I believe it's already there, but I need to check. But otherwise it should be released before June. And CentOS Stream 8 end of life by 31st May 2024. Some important dates to keep in mind so that you can plan things accordingly. Make sure that where to go, what to get, how to work on your life cycle, and also the dependencies in your environment as well. Like there are so many other things which depends upon the operating system. So keeping that dates in mind is an important thing. And anybody participating in SIGs? I'm checking my questions. Any questions? Okay, no questions yet. Okay. Anybody participating in special interest groups? If they are, we are still continuing with that. Still continuing the same with CentOS Stream as well. That's not being taken out, and we started seeing people like from virtualization development starting their own SIGs. People like I recently saw a video about animators who use Linux to render their videos, to edit their videos. They are also starting special interest groups. So anybody who is willing is interested in starting a special interest group on CentOS Stream, feel free to. We invite them, and those are much more. Those are important for us. Those kind of groups are important for us because they create that they create the things which Red Hat might not do. That they create things which Red Hat might not be interested in, and that's where the community plays as well. So SIGs are important to us. If you are participating, come along. And some more important things which I wanted to talk was about CI/CD. I go back to Gaurav's example again. CI/CD means continuous integration, continuous deployment, right? In today's environment, we are all into that. And Gaurav is as an intelligent person, he's going to deploy continuous features. He's going to give more and more value to his customers by providing more and more features and functionality into his applications. And he does that on a daily basis. And that's how today's DevOps world is. Everybody wants to provide more and more value to their end customers and their consumers. But how about infrastructure? Infrastructure, can we do the same? And if infrastructure is not doing that, how do we help that application developers to get those newer things to make their things happen? And that's one of the thought process in creating CentOS Stream. CentOS Stream has that CI/CD processing behind. So we got that idea from the cloud native process. So infrastructure is also getting into that motion of CIC, cloud native way of doing things. If you look at Amazon is providing patches every 3 seconds. So infrastructure is also have to change how where so that we can support the application process. Then going one step into it, like how exactly things looks like when we talk about releasing CentOS Stream or releasing Red Hat Enterprise Linux as such. So in the chart, in the presentation slide, you can see Fedora 28. CentOS Stream 8 has been taken from Fedora 28, and as a parallel release, we have RHEL 8. So that's RHEL 8 is a major release, and then every minor version of RHEL comes from CentOS Stream, and that's a place where all all those developers, people like you, people like Gaurav, people like me, will be adding things onto CentOS Stream, and that gets into the next minor versions of Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Talking to that, do you remember when RHEL 7 was released? RHEL 7 was released back in 2014, and it took around 5 to 5.5 years to get to the next major release, which is RHEL 8. RHEL 8 was released after 5 years, 5 to 5.5 years. So it took some time. But from now on, we are releasing the major releases comes out in every 3 years. So which means that we want to bring the innovation much faster to the community and out to the market, which also means that the major releases of CentOS Stream will happen every 3 years because RHEL will be based upon that CentOS Stream. So when you look at CentOS 9, it's based on Fedora 34, and RHEL 9 is based on CentOS Fedora 34 and CentOS Stream 9. So every minor release will be influenced by the CentOS Stream. Perfect. Any questions? Feel free to add that. I'm going to check the questions. Okay, no questions yet. All right. So we did so much of changes in making this happen, right? CentOS Stream was not an easy process. The changes was tough. We had to put our head around, think about what's the value we provide to the community, and making that change is was a tough thing. It has affected many of us, many of the developers, many of the people who has been using CentOS Linux, and we acknowledge that, and we wanted to help all those affected users out there, all those consumers out there. We want to help them, so we came up with many programs to help and get them onboarded to the next one. So things like developer programs. So you would have heard about developer program. There are two parts to a developer program. So when we announced this announcement came back in December 16th or so, and from there we started announcing different programs. The first one we announced was the developer subscriptions. The first one is developer subscription for individuals, which means that people like me, people like I'm an application developer. I want to get a RHEL subscription. I can use it. People like Gaurav, who's developing applications. Anybody out there, any individual who want to use RHEL as a platform to learn, as a platform to do their prototyping, want to do the demos, want to use it for their home purposes. Individual subscriptions. That's the first part. I'll talk about what's really in that in the next slide. But that's the first thing which we introduced, helping individual developers to consume RHEL in a friction-free, easy access manner. The second developer subscription which we introduced is subscriptions for teams, which is helping our customers. So let's say you run a company, you have hundreds of developers, thousands of developers, and you want to access RHEL. You get that from Red Hat. It's known as developer subscriptions for teams. You get access up to 25,000 developers. So you can use that, give it to your developers. They get it for no cost. You don't have to pay Red Hat. Only caveat is that it has to be for development purposes. So that's the second thing which we introduced. And there are many more things coming up, like academic institutes. Let's say that let's say Delhi University or Banaras Hindu University, one of the largest universities in India. They want to use Red Hat and Red Hat technologies. So we have an academic program which they can use not only for their IT backend, but also for their students. Students get access to our technologies. They can start learning about RHEL. They can use RHEL for their experiments, for their research purposes. They can use OpenShift to learn a little bit more around containers and things like that. So different programs is getting released. Different programs are in the line to help all those who have been using CentOS. And we are hoping to address at least 90% of the use cases who has been affected today. So let me explain a little bit more about um, the individual subscription program. Okay, individual subscription program, which is more closer to an individual. You get around 16 subscriptions which you can use. It can be used for your home purposes, it can be used in your lab environment, it can be used for building prototypes. If you want to demo it to someone, you can use that subscriptions. Only one thing is that it is a self-support. Self-support in the sense, you cannot call Red Hat, but you get access to all the content, all the binaries. You can download the operating system. You can get access to the knowledge base article. You get access to all the documentation. You get even access to uh, things like Bugzilla. You can raise bugs and things like that as well. So this is designed for individuals. And how do you get access to this? It's very easy. Let me show you how you do that. I'll click on the link and I want to walk you through that process as well. So once you get to the developer.redhat website, you scroll down. My internet is fast. it's it's the page is lagging. So over here, join the Red Hat developer program. You click over there, add in your details. Slowly coming up. Fill in your details. Read the enterprise agreement. That's an agreement you and Red Hat is signing. So that's the individual agreement which you're doing. And then once you have created your account, you get access to the subscription, which you can use it in your for your individual purposes. Not only that subscription, you get access to a lot more content over there, like Quarkus. You want to learn more about Quarkus, you want to learn about different application streams, you want to learn about different types of softwares which can run on RHEL. All those things are available over there. All right, I'll go back to my slide, go back to the presentation mode. Okay, and many of us has been asking us, you have so much of programs coming up, so where do I consume these programs? How do I consume these programs? Where is that? Who is that best person? Who is the best type of people who are eligible to consume this? So if it's developer subscriptions, any type of developer who wants to consume it, either you are an individual or on a company, if you are using it for development purposes, perfect, go ahead. If you're a university, if you are a school who wants to consume RHEL, we have a program for you, academic program, which is completely designed for you to move from CentOS to RHEL as such. I'm not saying that you should move to RHEL, but we are providing an option so that we know that you have been affected and we want to help you. That's where we are. That's the place we are coming in. And I want to show you how do you migrate, how do you move from CentOS to CentOS stream. So there are multiple ways to think. So we are providing multiple different types of programs for you to get to RHEL, but at the same time, there might be places where CentOS stream makes sense, right? If you are like a, I'm going back to the example of Gaurav. So if you're Gaurav and he's building application, he thinks that, okay, I can contribute and I can I want to be a little bit more at the cutting edge. I can also influence the RHEL roadmap. If that's the case, CentOS Stream makes sense. Definitely. So you should move to CentOS Stream. And if CentOS Stream is not the right place, then use one of our programs to get to Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So if you're so this is a these are the two different commands you can use to move from CentOS Linux to CentOS Stream. If you are not getting into CentOS Stream, then we have a tool called Convert to RHEL, which will help you to move from CentOS Linux to Red Hat Enterprise Linux. That's also a straightforward tool. Till this point of time, Convert to RHEL was not supported by our support organization. By last week, we made it supportable. That means this particular code is available within our repositories, and if you use this, we will support as well. So feel free to. So think about this. Depending upon your use case, depending upon what you want to do, depending upon what are the things you are looking forward to achieve, whether you are in a cutting edge, bleeding edge place, or if you want to have a stability, performance, if you are into testing phases, think about those aspects and choose the right platform. Then I know that Gaurav has talked to you about Red Hat Labs. I just want to introduce that because that's completely available for people out there. I use it all the time when I want to show demos, and there is no registration required. Let me walk you through that as well, and especially Insights. Insights is very closer to my heart, and that's a place where we make a lot of difference from a community standpoint, from an Oracle standpoint, from a SUSE competition standpoint. Insights makes a lot of difference for Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Insights is that tool which comes with RHEL, which helps you to provide a predictive analytics. Let's take an example. You have 100 systems in your environment. How would you know all the issues in your environment which you did not know about? How could somebody know about all the issues which you did not know about, right? So Insights is the one which will help you. Once you activate Insights will proactively tell you, hey, you have a security issue. Hey, you have a new bug. How about fixing that? Insights will proactively tell you. Not only proactively telling you, it will give you an Ansible playbook to automate it. If you have 100 systems, if the bug is affecting all your 100 systems, you can use that Ansible playbook to fix that bug across that 100 systems. That's the value of Red Hat Insights. And more things are coming up in Insights. I will not go in detail into that because we are talking about CentOS Stream today. So I just wanted to bring that up in the lab portion of it. So this is available for everybody out there. Feel free to use it. Use it to learn and show it to others as well. Just click on this multiple different scenarios. I'll go back to the initial page as well. So around 10 to 12 scenarios available today across databases, security, containers. If you like to learn about Ansible, like writing your first playbook, you can do it over here and learn about how to automate Red Hat Enterprise Linux. With that, I go back to my presentation and my final topic. We are very sure that you still have concerns. We are happy to listen to you. Bring it on. If you have any concerns, and we want to listen to you. After listening to you, we want to add and create more programs which can help our customers and our consumers. And these are all blogs written by our experts. I especially like the one which is written by Scott. The second one, before you get mad at the CentOS stream change, he has written it very well. I would encourage you to read about that and think about what's the perspective behind Red Hat making this change. So with that, let's open up the floor to discuss more. Gaurav.
Yeah, thank you, Rahul. Means I was just sitting for this from last half an hour, and I'm wondering that how much things I have already missed, and so are viewers. I believe a lot of while people were listening to you and your thoughts, they were getting excited over and over. Everyone is saying hi to you. They're learning quite a lot. I'm just flashing few of the messages. If we I have missed, I'm sorry. So one of the questions was coming out, Rahul, for you, and I want to ask is Rahul sir is using Linux or any other OS?
Good question. So when I joined Red Hat, I used RHEL for a while. Then after that, I used Fedora for a while. That was a time when I was in pre-sales, and it my work required learning so much of RHEL. It was the first time I was using RHEL, and it was a shock to me, coming from a Microsoft background. In the sense, I have been using Microsoft tools, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, the email. After joining Red Hat, it was a shock. How can we use open office? So it was so much different. So I started using RHEL and Fedora when I got my first laptop. Few years later, I had to change the job. It became less technical, where I have to create presentations. That's my job today. So for creating presentations, I requested for a different laptop, which is today I use a Mac. Otherwise, if I'm a technical like Gaurav, I will be using RHEL and Fedora. Yes.
No, and interesting part is that I have been using Fedora, CentOS, RHEL since the start of my career because I'm blessed that I have started my career with Red Hat. And every single day, trust me, I keep on exploring the new thing and I can see, wow, this is something I have missed. Oh, this is something I haven't seen yet. So that's the part. And talking the conversation ahead, Rahul, thank you so much for giving us the whole bunch of information. Now, as I said to you in our discussion, so Cheers with Gaurav has always been providing platform to young talents to interact with the industry professionals. And today I have been joined with few of the people, and I want them to ask of the questions, and then we'll jump on to the live questionnaires. So first up is Harsh. So he happens to be one of my team member also. He was quite eager to come up. He helped me in designing all the beautiful thumbnails that everybody can see on the channel. So and he is also an open source contributor. Recently, he also cleared his Red Hat certified system administrator exam and now pursuing in his final year. So Harsh, you're alive. Hey, you're on mute. The best part of being technical. Yeah.
Hey,
Okay.
sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Harsh. How are you doing?
Yes, sir. I'm doing well. So, yeah, before asking any question, I would like to uh, say that it's really a pleasure to be talking with you, the product manager of Red Hat Enterprise Linux.
Pleasure to be here, Harsh. It's my pleasure to be here because I have been looking forward to talk to you all in the sense. I have been telling Gaurav about this yesterday evening when we did the rehearsal session before putting my makeup. So I was telling Gaurav that we have so much of misconceptions around this announcement. We have to come in front of our audience and tell that, and clear their doubts, clear their confusion, and give them back the confidence that we did this for a with a positive intention. So I'm grateful to be here, actually speaking.
Yeah, that is true. Actually, we want to have the information you presented in a very good manner. So my question is basically, in what ways Red Hat Enterprise Linux or RHEL outstands the Fedora for production environment?
So, as I mentioned, right, RHEL is an fork from Fedora. So Fedora is a place where all that cutting edge, bleeding edge things happens, and it's a place where everybody comes together and contributes. A lot of innovation happens there, and it might not be the case where these all innovations which are happening on Fedora it will be used by many of us because it's in the early stages. The customers who are looking forward to use Linux wants to have some kind of stability. They want to make sure that wherever they deploy their Linux operating system, like it could be on a physical server, it could be on a virtual machine, it could be on a cloud. Wherever they go, the performance, the stability, the security has to be the same. That's a place where RHEL makes sense. So compared to Fedora, Fedora is a place where if you are into IoT, AIML, I talked about this desktop use cases. You feel that you want to contribute, you have some great ideas to go and do it. That's a place. But the moment you want to deploy something production grade workloads, with where you want to make sure that your end customers are receiving something predictable, Red Hat Enterprise Linux. That's the difference.
Yeah, that makes sense. Actually, Red Hat is already very well in terms of security. We all know that. Fedora is something for all of us to contribute. That's true. I guess this information will be making sense for all the audience. Thank you. Thank you so much for the beautiful answer.
Thank you. Thank you, Harsh, for being here, and I'll catch you in a few moments. Okay. So next up is Rishabh. So Rishabh happens to be a designer that we were just talking in the line. He is also a YouTuber. He has started recently a channel where he animates the content and bring life to the audience. And he has got a vibe, and now he also a student and exploring a lot of OS platform capabilities. So I thought of he'll definitely make some sense to be on the stream. Rishabh, good evening.
Hello, sir.
Hello, Rishabh.
Yeah, sir. It's my pleasure to be with you, sir. I've seen the presentation. It was really helpful for me as I'm a beginner in open source and I'm really interested in open source, Red Hat enterprises and Linux. And I got to know very much about it about after the presentation. So thank you, sir, for such a great presentation.
Pleasure, pleasure.
So, sir, as you are a product manager at Red Hat, so my question is, so many of the large companies, they are just investing in software development. They are just entering into the arena of free and open source softwares. So, how these arrivals of these large corporates help and affects the development of open source software, sir?
Okay, so let's take an example of Red Hat itself, right? Red Hat contributes to multiple communities. A lot of communities where we believe that our customers can get some value out of it. We contribute to thousands of projects, and that's the place where we have to think that we we as a company contribute as well as sponsor. Sponsor means we fund certain projects, right? So that funding, that contribution is making a difference to our communities. That's part number one.
Okay, sir.
The I forgot your second part of the question. Can you repeat that second part of
Sir,
the question?
the second part is these large big companies, how these big companies are affecting the development of these open source softwares.
Okay, that's a good one as well. Let's talk about this. Have you heard about Feed Henry?
No, sir. Actually, I'm new to this field, but yeah, I feel I'll
Let's
search it.
it's a mobile software where we
Okay,
can
sir.
build mobile applications, and Red Hat bought that company. You would have heard about CloudForms,
Yes, sir.
which is a company which was bought by Red Hat. These were all proprietary solutions. This was
Yes,
not
sir.
open source. So we believe that these particular projects or these particular companies can be of great help to our customers and our communities. So we acquired them. We made it open source. That means those proprietary code, which is only available to certain group of people, we made it public.
Yes.
So that's an
Got it.
that's a difference which we make. Not only like contribution, like from our engineers who is contributing it, not only by funding it, but also we do things like where when we feel that it's a we can make a bigger impact, we open that source code for the larger community as well. These are some of the aspects which we do.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for this answer.
Thank you, Rishabh, for joining us live and bringing that part of the corporates to us. Thank you so much. I'll catch you in a minute. Thank you. So next up is Aman. So I know him from like last 2 to 3 years when I used to go for the examination. this fellow met me in one of the examination center, and I just asked him few of the questions, and I found him quite curious. And when I posted this part, he was the one who reached out to me, and I thought, let's hear his perspective as well. So he recently started doing as a cloud intern in one of these startups and doing great. So let's hear it from his what he thought. Hey, man, how are you?
Hey. Hello, sir. How are you doing?
Hello, Aman. How are you doing? I'm all good.
All good as well. So I'm really fortunate enough to be here with you live, and the presentation was I would say it is literally valuable. All the information you got, it has given much more clarity, and yeah. So let's coming towards my question. I was about to ask that Red Hat as a company whose heart lies in Linux. So, how and when did we start to design solutions for Windows, and how difficult or easy it was? And secondly, my question is that how is the experience while designing integrating solutions with platforms like SAP, Microsoft Azure, etc.
Okay, the first part of the question is how do we start integrating with Windows? That part, can you elaborate on that part?
What I meant is basically Red Hat is an organization who's actually very close to Linux, right? So
Mm-hmm.
how and when did we started working on with Windows and designing solutions for the same?
Okay, so things like .NET, things like
Yeah,
Microsoft SQL
yeah,
Server, right?
yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right. Yeah, I understand that. Okay, so it's think about this. We have been industry has been changing, technologies has been changing, right? As I said, CI/CD, right? Why we had to have CentOS Stream? CentOS Stream was came into our minds because the application development has been changing into CI/CD. So infrastructure cannot stand still. It also have to change.
Yeah.
Infrastructure also have to become CI/CD. Pretty similar to that when developers who uses .NET or SQL Server, when they see that they get more advantages with Linux, then
Hmm.
people like us have to think about how to serve them. We have to give them something, right? So because they see the need to be on Linux. Example: SQL database stores a lot of data. That's a major core purpose of SQL servers. They
Yeah.
store data. They help you to create information out of it. Perfect. But what are the things around that database? The applications around the database. It's AIML.
Hmm.
These are the applications which consumes data from SQL Server. Where do they run? They run on Linux platforms.
Sure.
So when the surrounding applications runs on Linux platforms, how about the database? Do I have to manage two different platforms? How do I integrate these these are the things which happens in the industry which also makes people like us to work with Windows, work with Microsoft to create that integrated solutions. These are market problems. These are challenges which we have to address, and that's how it got started. Same with SAP. SAP also
Awesome.
same, right? SAP by 2027, I think they moving their HANA databases to Linux platforms, and there are only
Yeah.
two Linux platforms which will be supported. One is Red Hat Enterprise Linux, other is definitely our competition, which is SUSE. So we have to be in that place. It's an opportunity for us. Definitely, we will make money out of it. No doubt about it. Definitely there. But also at the same time, we'll be able to help that people who believes that HANA has to be on Red Hat Enterprise Linux.
Awesome. Awesome. That's really
That's the
great.
place where we start working together.
Yeah, it's very good to know how we are actually unleashing the power of technologies and merging them together and using it for good benefit.
Right.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
I forgot to mention about the universal base image. Universal base image is also a classic example. Um, um, the universal base image is a containerized format of Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So where we like today, Red Hat Enterprise Linux is 4 GB, 8 GB up to that size. But when somebody wants to run RHEL as a container, It has to be 80 MB, 40 MB, 100 MB of that size. So we created that universal base image, which is a cut down, stripped down version of RHEL, which is good enough to run as a container. But you get all the goodness of Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So you will run a containerized application on a RHEL in a very small footprint. Where did that come from? So that was a need by the market because we are all into a CI/CD environment, and if you have to be on a CI/CD environment, you need to provide these kind of things.
That's great. Utmost efficiency.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thanks.
Aman,
Thanks a
for
lot.
bringing that part up. Even I was about to ask in the last, but glad that you have brought that part up. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Okay, I'll see you in a minute. And talking about the next individual, he happens to be a third year engineering grad, and he's also an active Fedora contributor. So he joined Fedora community in doing a lot of contribution. Recently, he has acquired some of the community contribution regarding the sum of code and all those hacking part coming out. So Vishal, how are you doing? So
Hello, sir. Hello, Gaurav, sir. Hello, Rahul, sir.
Hello, Sal.
It is good opportunity to talking with you. It's very good presentation. Is a deep about the CentOS, how it works, and it's my first question is, so why Red Hat ship over the full investment on CentOS stream and project? What is the motive behind this? What is the purpose of?
Okay. The question is why we moved away from CentOS Linux to CentOS Stream, right?
Yeah.
Okay. As I mentioned in the beginning, we all started CentOS Linux with the aim that there are a certain group of people who wanted to have a platform which is closer to Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So they required stability. Fedora is not the place for them because Fedora is very fast moving. It's tough to be there. So we created CentOS Linux. CentOS Linux was given, and then people started contributing, working on them. Let's say, Vishal, if you are an application developer, right? You develop an application, you want to test it, make sure that it is working, it is stable, it can perform. You used CentOS Linux. Now, you created a new functionality. That functionality has to come into RHEL. That's a place where people will buy and use it, right? So if it has to come to RHEL, it has to take the bigger loop of going to Fedora and then coming to RHEL. So your innovation took some time. With CentOS Stream, we are addressing that. Now, Vishal, you are developing an application. You are contributing to CentOS Stream now. You remember the picture which I showed where the continuous stream is working. The moment you put in your request, the new feature request, it can come in the next releases of Red Hat Enterprise Linux. That's the difference. Previously, it took some time. Now we are influencing the RHEL even before it's getting released. CentOS Linux got released after RHEL. See that's the difference. And also I talked about CI/CD and things like that. So many advantages behind it, but the the major the important point behind this is that we want to take the innovation which you are providing to the community and the customers much faster. That's the agenda behind creating CentOS Stream. And we
Thank you, sir.
completely agree with the fact that it created some challenges because it was something which already existed and we took it back, right? The kind of feeling, right? So that's a place where I talked about the programs. These programs will help you help. We deeply believe that these programs will help those challenges.
Yes, thank you, sir. So second question is, so what will happen when CentOS stream switching from the RHL 8 to RHL 9 in the base content or any as a means as a kernel upgrade or any package management is change?
You mean a upgrade process
Yeah,
from
yeah,
RHEL 9?
yeah. It's come. Yeah.
Yes, that has not been defined yet. How do we upgrade from RHEL 8 to RHEL 9? But I can talk about the previous ones. How we do it. RHEL 5. If I talk about RHEL 5 to RHEL 6, there is no upgrade path. Never existed. So it was long back. And we understood that, yes, it is a pain. We have to provide something. Definitely, yes. When we reach RHEL 6, yeah, slightly there. RHEL 6 to RHEL 7, we have a tool, but not not that, not that there, but you can make it happen. Then we reached RHEL 7. RHEL 7, I said, okay, we have to make it happen. This is a really a pain point for all of our customers. We have to provide them a seamless upgrade so that it is of less downtime. Downtime is serious. It's losing money for our customers. So in RHEL 7, we came up with this tool called Leap, Leapp. So using the Leap tool, you can upgrade from RHEL 7 to RHEL 8 seamlessly. So this tool will help you to understand, okay, can I really upgrade? What are the things I'm missing? You can do a pre-check before upgrade. So you run that pre-check. This Leap tool will tell you, okay, these are the packages which are missing. These are the interdependencies. Please go and fix it. You can fix it and then run the actual upgrade. Yet another point. Let's say you have 100 machines. Can you run one by one? Not a possibility, right? Many of our customers have hundreds of machines, and that's a place where we integrated that Leap tool with Satellite, which is smart management. So the Satellite will trigger the upgrade for all the 100 machines at once using Ansible playbooks. So there is a Leap tool and as well as automation, which will help you to do from RHEL 7 to RHEL 8. RHEL 9, we haven't thought much about it because we still have time, but I believe that this Leap tool will be there to do that upgrade as well.
Yeah, that's great. So, sir, one more question is, um, I see the in time in many times the as user when is coming the news is CentOS as a I mean read the blog, the CentOS is dead. So many user are to be choose the another Linux distribution, for example open source cloud Linux. So what is in affecting in the IT business in the changing?
Okay, so yes, it was a tough decision. It has caused some challenges. It has caused many people being unhappy about it. Definitely, yes. Uh, for me also, it was first time. Oh, why are we doing this? What is this? I also was. I also had the same feeling in my mind. Why are we doing? Then later, when I started to dig more, understand more the intention behind it, the advantages behind it, then I understood. Okay, CentOS stream makes sense. Let's do that. We have to change. This is for a greater good. At the same time, uh, like Oracle Linux or SUSE are also taking that opportunity. We see that, yes, this is an opportunity for everybody to utilize that change. So everybody is behind it. We totally understand that. That's one of the reasons why we came up with this programs to help, so that you don't see that difficulty in moving towards Red Hat Enterprise Linux, and you can consume this. But from a market standpoint, I don't think that this is going to make a big difference because today, when you look at RHEL is at 73% market share from a paid Linux distribution standpoint. So we are having a good amount of belief, confidence from our customers, which means that 73 out of 100, 73%, 73 people believe in Red Hat Enterprise Linux, which is a great testimony. I'm sure that they believe in this. That's then they will continue to use that, and these programs will help them to even more adopt Red Hat Enterprise Linux.
Yeah,
When
that's
I'm not short falling on the competition. Yes, we are constantly we are constantly watching them, and we will continuously will provide more and more features and functionalities which will help our customers. Yes.
yeah. So one more question is, as a senior principal product manager, what is the workflow? Means when you come in the product, so what is the means how it works? What is your workflow? How you will work as a
Ah, okay. Okay, there are few types of product managers. So there are product managers who work with engineers to develop a product. So what they do is that they understand a market problem, they validate a market problem, they see that okay there is a challenge which we can address with our product, then they find out what's the opportunity behind it, market opportunity behind the number, how much we can make out of it. Then they convert that market opportunity to a business case, and then they work with the engineers to develop a product or a feature which can address that challenge. So that's a one type of product managers. They work closely with engineering. Then there are other type of product managers, the other side to it, where they work closely with the business, where which makes sure that okay, and now I have a product. How do we sell this? How do we market this? How do we get to these customers? How do the customers buy it? What are the routes to sell this? Is it through a website? Is it through a retail shop? Is it through somebody who is going to deliver it to the customer? Those kind of things. So there is another aspect to it. So somebody who's builds it, somebody who will take it to the market and make sure that it can be sold. So I am on the other side where I make sure that the market buys it, market I can sell it, things like that. And I'm not on the engineering side, I'm on the other side.
Thank you so much, sir. Giving it's
I guess
very,
Vishal
very,
has cleared
very.
a lot of questions from us.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank,
you, Vishal.
thank you.
Okay, so Rahul, we have taken a lot of time, but still, there are a few questions from the audience which I was seeing that they have just asked. Everybody, trust me, has enjoyed a lot about your presentation, and many of the things have been cleared from that presentation itself. But like few of the people have the question, like one of the viewers have asked the question, where do you see the Linux distributions in future?
Okay. At some point in time, I also thought that where is Linux going? Do we still
Yes.
have a place where we can provide value? Then these all things are happening. Say, for example, good example is AIML. Good example is IoT. Another great example is all these connected cars. These are all great examples where Linux can be still dominating, still can be provide value.
Mhm.
That's the power of open source because we provide Linux to the hands of people who can do such kind of things. Any proprietary solution cannot do that. If Gaurav, you want to build a connected car in your dashboard, if you want to run your GPS system, all the car experience. Now I sit down on the car, then my temperature is there, my pre-settings are there, the car starts driving. All these things are developed using Linux platforms.
Yes.
We are still making a difference. Think about this: the aeroplane industry, like I mean the travel industry. Think about people being carried by a drone. What is that operating system which will run on drone?
Yes.
Linux still have a place. Linux will make a difference going forward. So I'm very confident about that.
Yes. So one of the question coming from Tejaswini, she asked that will the source code of RHEL continue to appear on Git CentOS?
Yes, the way we used to deliver the code is not changing. The three ways we used to deliver the code in three ways. The first one is the CentOS Linux project. So instead of that, it is going to be CentOS Stream project. Then the git.centos.org continues to remain, no change in that. And the third way is providing the RPM source code in our portal, which is access.redhat.com. So these things are not changing. This is going to be there. Yes.
Right. Great. And I guess many of the people will be having this thought in mind that when now it comes to CentOS Stream, now people can directly contribute to RHEL as well. Right. So one of our viewers want to just ask that what is the best place to get started with open source contribution into Fedora or RHEL?
Yeah, that's what I mentioned, right? Where It depends upon what you are trying to do. If you
Yes.
are trying to develop an operating system, Fedora is a place. But if you are trying to build something on top of the operating system, then probably CentOS Stream might be a best place.
Yes. Right. So I hope Divisam you got the point right. So Gopal has last of the question that some of the customers might not want to continuously update the base OS. So how they are benefiting from this change?
Okay. So CentOS Stream, yes, that is continuously is a continuous stream. What we provide in the sense from CentOS Stream, the RHEL minor versions are getting created. So if their customers are using Red Hat Enterprise Linux as the operating system, the changes are not happening on daily basis. It is still happening every 6 months.
Mhm.
So it's not affecting them. So they will get a chance to update their operating system every 6 months, or if they are on a version where their extended update support is there, which is EUS, then it's 2 years. So they can keep that particular version for a 2 years time period. So CentOS stream, yes, it is moving fast, moving in a continuous stream, but Red Hat Enterprise Linux keep the same cadence, not changing.
Right. I guess Gopal has just posted a follow-up question. How do you see the competition with Elma Linux and Rocky Linux, which are the following RHEL based?
Uh, okay, this is a very good question, and in the sense that in open source we welcome competition.
Yes.
We need competition, definitely, yes, and we don't want to kill that. That's not the idea. Rocky Linux, yes, please feel free to, right? That's our aim. If you are contributing to the Linux, that means we are also benefited, our community is benefited. So yes, we welcome that.
Yes.
So definitely yes, but we will continue to, from a RHEL standpoint, we will continue to make sure that we will provide value so that our customers still buys from it. But from a community standpoint, yes, competition is required. A community has to grow in that fashion. Yes, there is no monopoly there.
No, definitely, that makes sense. So, thank you so much, Gopal, for your question. And now I just want to say, Rahul, means interacting to you and learning from the today's part. I can relate to one of the quote from Ken Kesey saying that you don't lead by pointing and telling people some place to go. You lead by going to that places and making a case, and definitely learning from you, coming out all the importance of CentOS stream, where to contribute, how to get started, has definitely benefited us. And trust me, I can to sensely like enjoy the learning. I was just sitting like this, that what is going to come up next, how it is going to benefit me, how I can take this value at, and so my team. So before we leave to you for the final words, our team want to meet you once again last who has joined us on the stream. So hey everybody, let me bring everybody on the screen back. And I guess I just want to say thanks to everyone who has joined us, because when I see myself being privileged to interact with you and many other industry professionals, I also see that these students who have been contributed to the true sense to our community, they should also get this part to join. So what I want to say you, Rahul, thank you so much, and cheers from Team Gaurav to helping us.
All
And
right.
everyone,
Yes.
please raise a glass, cheers, so that it can be like
Cheers.
someone want to say anything to you. Most welcome, Harsh. Anything you want to say?
Yeah, sir. I want to say that uh, learning about CentOS, RHEL, and Fedora are that was a good presentation. Even the audience should learn about the presentation skills that you have as a product manager, but we should also learn from them and how to make a good presentation and how to actually present.
Thank you, Harsh. Rishabh, any thoughts to add?
So, sir, thank you so much for this lovely presentation. And as I'm a beginner in open source, it helped me a lot. I got to know so much about Red Hat, so much about CentOS, and I will definitely be contributing to this. Thank you so much, sir.
All right.
Aman?
Yeah. Thanks a lot for coming over here, sir, having this time with us. It was really helpful, I would say. Definitely, the presentation was really awesome, and there are a lot of insights to take from the same. and that will definitely help all of us to grow and contribute more even. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Vishal,
Thank you, Gaurav sir. Thank you also. It's wonderful session and new learning is new things. That is the open source to contribute and collaborate manner. That's
yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, team, for being here. Now, over to you, Rahul. Rahul, any final words before you leave us on the stream? Anything for our viewers, to all of us, anything that you want to say?
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad that I made this choice and you gave me this chance to come over here. I'm glad to hear all the questions. That opens up my mind as well. And keep learning. Continue to perform well, do well, and reach out to us. Reach out to Gaurav or me if you have any questions related to CentOS stream or how to get started even. All right. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Rahul. Just for the say, I just want to say again, thanks for accepting the request for joining us. We know that it's quite late in the evening for you to join us, but yes, as I have always said, that interacting with you, I always relate that a great person attracts great people and knows how to hold them together. So you have enlightened us with the knowledge that you have, and thanks for sharing it, being open. And I can't joy out for the Sunday that yes, now I have so much to explore more, and I'll keep exploring that. Thank you so much, Rahul, for joining us.
Enjoy.
Cheers.
Enjoy. Have a good rest of the Sunday. Enjoy. See you all
Thank
soon.
you.
Bye.
See you. Thank you. Bye bye. And for all the viewers, please, if you like the stream, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Share this video as much as you can to all the people who wants to get started with the open source, who has been doing good in the open source world, and also if somebody want to explore more about CentOS, please feel free to reach out to me. All the important links will be there in the description box. More importantly, keep loving, keep sharing, keep doing the contribution on, and support the individual community out there. I'll see you with another exciting video. And if you want to get featured on one of the podcasts, please reach out to me offline. Thank you so much. Keep learning, keep sharing. Happy